thesis or in the beginning of our research work. So when we start like research generally, either as a MTech or as a PhD, the first question or the first problem or the first biggest problem is actually like to find a problem. Okay, so how to actually find the problem? I said general approaches are basically we have got a certain problem which is actually bothering us. Mostly the research should be guided by a certain problem which is bothering us or which is bothering the society, and then go ahead with solving the problem. But second approach is basically we do literature review and we do surveys and then we find gaps in the paper and then we do certain things. Okay, and then there are going to be certain other approaches. But as far as the research is itself is concerned, that is being defined as intensive search with the purpose of becoming certain. Okay, so it is a systematic investigation into reality to gain the knowledge. Then how we are going to find a good topic? Basically, there are going to be two extreme topics. One is basically very narrow and deep. Okay, so an investigation of basically a few variable parameters along with the many parameters held fixed. That's what I said. Like we are searching the paper and then we find that they have worked upon certain parameters and we are going to change this parameter and then what the result actually are. Then broad, basically wide and shallow. That is also extreme approach. Consider actually many parameters at once and then try to do the research. Then there are going to be certain advantages as well as disadvantages of this particular topic searching or topic finding. If we go for narrow, so as I am from the computer science, so mostly the examples are going to be from the computer science itself. So if you are going for this narrow approach, so what are the assumptions basically? Like we are going to look at what design method, object-oriented design methods actually we are going to use, and whether we are going to assume like Java kind of language, or there are going to be small teams, and then there could be 10K or 100K of source lines of code. So there are going to be certain assumptions which are going to be taken in doing the research works. So investigate effect of use of actually critical path planning. So how concurrency problems can be solved if we are assuming these kind of scenarios. Then broader is basically we are going to investigate the effect of like there are going to be various design methodology or various design principles. So and we are going to focus on like how these design principles are going to be incorporated on in different programming languages. So there are going to be use source lines of code, and then there are going to be different planning methods to achieve this. Then so these have got a certain advantages and disadvantages if you are going to choose the topic like that. So narrow one has got the advantages. There are going to be more chances of pushing the boundary of the knowledge, and it may be more exciting because we are focused on our focus is on a very narrow band, so we can work hard and then we can actually extend the boundary. Then disadvantage of this model narrow is your model may be too abstract and unrealistic basically. So I might go in certain things very deep, but that is of no relevance to the majority of the community. So and it's sometimes very hard like which parameter you are going to change and how you are going to optimize or do certain things about that. Then the advantage of the this wide topic is basically it's mostly going to be the realistic one, and it could be a good training for industrial research as well. And disadvantage mostly if we are a very generic, sometimes it becomes boring and basically unlikely because our focus is a little bit at the wide range. So sometimes uh, it's going to be less contribution as we actually have planned. So people are joining, so little bit you have to admit, or somebody else is who is admitting. Just a little query, because it comes on the screen. So I have to admit them, or somebody else is taking care of this.
Sir, we will taking care of it.
Okay,
Admit.
thank you. So then in this also there are going to be two other extremes in searching the topic. I tell like one is the fundamentalist, that is the fundamental topic, and this is abstraction of a specific hardware and software. There are going to be some fundamental problem in any area, like in computer science, P and NP problem is going to be there. So this kind of theoretical problem one can take up, and then there is going to be the application. That means like we are going to do the applied research. Okay, so we will focus on the specific software or a specific hardware to carry out our research. So the in fundamental topic again, the advantage with the candidate is basically it, your thesis is going to have a very longer life, and it is going to impact the community in large, and your work can have actually many applications. Disadvantage of this is it's very hard to push the boundary very far as the fundamental problems are concerned, because whole of the world is are trying to solve that particular problem. Okay, so your model may be too abstract and ultimately unrealistic. And then if we are going for the applied topic, the advantage is basically it's very easier, problems could be taken up, and then it may help with getting a job in industry, because our focus is basically on applied one. So industry looks for the people who are working okay over the applied methodologies or applied technologies. This can contribute a lot to a particular relevant area. Like we know right now, AI, machine learning is a hot topic. So this disadvantage of this particular approach is basically your thesis can die young, basically. So you have taken a certain technology, and technology itself die out. So your work may be not going to be appreciated. So your employment prospects can be short-lived. You have learned Python, or you have learned little bit about some new language and work into that, and then there was a startup and that die out. Then the things are going to go against you. So there might be a restricted applications actually for this kind of work, because the most general topic, the mostly there are going to be a lot of applications for that particular most general topics. So another two more extreme topics are the classical problems, basically known. These are also a fundamental problems. I want to solve a problem that has defeated many others. And then second could be the hot topic. I want a lot of newspaper coverage, like AI and machine learning all are doing right now. So the advantage of the classical topic is basically you may win the lottery and solve a hard problem. So like P and NP is being solved, the one who solves definitely is going to get a Turing Award. But that is like winning a lottery. Okay. So your thesis is going to have a very long life if you are going to solve this kind of classical problem or fundamental problem. So you will be getting a better referees, you will be getting a better representation, and definitely higher scientific quality is going to be there, because it's going to be a combined effort of your referees, your guide, and yours. Disadvantage, definitely it can be frustrating if you are not able to solve it. It takes years and years. It sometimes takes 10 years, 15 years, or even you cannot solve it in 10, 15 years. Immediate rewards definitely are very small. And if you are in hot topic, then you are going to get immediate feedback, because community is working on that. So a lot of people are working, and with good timing, you can get a very rich. A lot of startup comes by the hot topic. Somebody thinks about the problem, solves it, and there is startup. So Easier, very easy, easier to publish because everybody is working in this domain, no established theory. So you have done some quality work, some good work, you will get a place where you can actually publish. Problems little bit easier to solve in comparison with the classical topics. And then there is going to be the vibrant community actually. This vibrant community uh, is working in the hard area always. So disadvantage, again the same, which was the fundamentalist, this basically applicationist approach. That is, your thesis can die little young, and then scientific quality can be low. Then advice is basically which kind of topic one should choose. It should be a mix of both. So investigate a fundamental and classical topic, definitely, which is going to have some application. Because I have seen the people who say like, I don't care what the thinks about, what the world thinks about it. I have seen many people who say like, I am solving some good problem as long as it interests me. So it's okay for me to solve that particular problem. World will be taken care of later on. Or if world finds it interesting, then it's okay. But as a research scholar, generally this approach, if we are doing our research for the employment, then probably this approach is not going to be beneficial. For the professors who are established, they can go for actually this kind of approach. Actually, they can solve some real problem. So find then general advice, again investigate a classical, fundamental, deep and narrow topic with some applications to couple of hard applied topics. That's what I said. And then obtain a breadth, being a member of a team or research community. So again, there could be two more extreme. That is, this is the fourth. That is there are going to be people who are going to be introverts, and they don't want to communicate with many people, and they are not good at teamwork. Then they can be an introvert, and they are self motivated, and they are going to find the problem and solve that. And they don't care about the customer. An extrovert, that is the customer oriented, has the customer actually who are looking for the solution of the problem. Then he is going to solve, and again, all advantages and disadvantages of customer oriented research is going to be there. So again, more exciting for some people, that is introvert research. And this disadvantage is actually funding unlikely. So if you are looking for the funded research, probably no one is going to fund you right now, and maybe worthless to everyone except yourself. Sometimes it happens like I am in my own created world. I feel like I am solving some very good problem, but that problem might not be interest to anybody or any technical work. It's just a one case. Other case could be like you have solved a very good problem, and that could also happen. So customer oriented research, basically you have got a good chance of good feedback, good chance of funding, and many people are going to criticize or comment, and you can improve your research. Disadvantage of this is basically like if you are customer oriented, so sometimes it's like whether to go this way or that way. So that could be a problem. Again, ensure that you have the customer. Finally, whatever research work you are going to do, keep someone in your mind. It could be a industry, it could be academia, it could be a world in general. So if there is going to be someone for whom you are working, then it makes the work interesting, as well as it is going to be worth doing. So the research, how you are going to do the research, basically there are going to be certain research procedures, and in that procedure it could have that the customer has a problem and the researcher is going to produce an initial model of the problem. Okay, so somebody gives you like this problem you have to solve, and then like we do in software engineering, customer itself doesn't know what kind of solution he is looking for. So you have to actually make him understand the solution, the problem both. He might come with some initial version of the problem, then you are going to present him with the model like, do you want this? Then customer says like, no, I want this. So that is the problem of the communication. then when you are doing the research, actually, you are going to repeat certain steps until the customer is satisfied. So the researcher is supposed to solve the problem according to the model he has built up and he has shown his customer. So then researcher is going to evaluate the solution of the model problem. So whatsoever model problem is, and the customer evaluates the solution to the real problem, like whether in whatsoever context, in whatsoever environment customer is working, whether the solution is going to actually workable solution for him or not. Then the customer is going to talk to the researcher, and researcher is supposed to adjust the model until the customer finally gets satisfied, because this is the customer oriented research. Then researchers have several actually roles to play, that is create and adjust model problems, abstract away non-essential details, and use scientific theories and formalism actually to build the model. So basically customers comes with a lot of details which could be unnecessary for the problem. Okay, so you have to abstract out unnecessary details and focus on just the essentials. That is the whole crux of the modeling basically. Then you are going to solve your model problem. In that solving the model problems, you are going to your using your skill in computer science, math, sociology, psychology, whatsoever. Because now this research has become joint research between various departments. So even computer science, when we have gone to the machine learning, AI, and cognition, and all those things are robotics, then every area has merged actually. So then on the basis of your skill, you are going to form the hypothesis and then your solutions. So, and that too, if we are application oriented and we want to contribute really to the world, then it should be done till the customer is actually satisfied, who's your customer is. Then how you are going to evaluate your hypothesis and solutions to the model problems. So you will be using skills in the math, experiments, or some user centric feedback and all those things. Abstraction of reality. So when we build a model, that means nothing but there is some reality, and we are going to actually extract out certain details and keep the essentials. That is basically the modeling, and we build the model. So again, the model is a representation of reality. So in this, when we create a model, actually, then in practice, what happens is basically there could be a real problem, and then we have got the model of the real problem, someone has built it, and then if somebody is working in this category, that some real issue is going to be there, some real problem is going to be there, which is coming from the environment, from the society, and somebody is